Hey everyone, Neen here from the Hyperactive Bookworm. I'm here today to do the January wrap-up of my reading bookshelf with the puppy down here who will probably interrupt us as often as she possibly can. So I read 13 books this month. Well, actually I read 14 books this month, but we're only going to do 13 of the reviews because the 14th book was a beta read, and I'll talk about that at the end, but I plan to be doing a full book review on that one once it actually is released. So let's get started. So the first book of the year, The Head Mistress by Melina Mckay. Alright, so I did an interview with Melina about this. I also did a full book review about this, and what can I say? I love this book. I absolutely love this book. I started reading it on e-reader. Chapter 6, I knew I had to get a paperback. Chapter 10, I went and ordered it. I had to get it. I ended up finishing reading the book on here because it arrived and I was like, yes! And I actually started the whole thing again, read the whole thing. And Melina, if you are watching, just close your eyes for 5 seconds. Just 5 seconds, because yeah, I loved this book. There are highlights, there are, you can't see as many, but there are comments in the margins. There's so many things I loved about this book, and it's just beautiful. I'll put down in the comments the review. I'll also put a link to the interview with Melina because they were both fabulous. Basically, mystery, Sapphic, Ice Queen, age gap, grumpy cat. So, you know, you put a grumpy feline in a book, I'm pretty much gonna love it. It was just absolutely amazing. The dynamic of humanity's contradictions, it's just fabulous. Sam and Magdalene, mwah, I love them. And yes, just so you know, it did make me cry. The Ice Queen is melting this year. Alright, the second book I read, I actually was given this book by a friend. I have, oh, that was my coffee. Excellent, hold on. And this, my dear friends, is why I have a travel mug, because I can't be trusted around open cups. Alright, so this book was given to me and I flicked through it. I've read bits and pieces of it. Until now, I hadn't actually read it cover to cover. I'm so glad I have. It has changed so much for me that it's kind of blown me away, actually. So it's called How Poetry Can Change Your Heart, and it's written by Andrea Gibson and Megan Falley, and it is fabulous. So I've always had this kind of, I go between a love-hate relationship with poetry to ambivalence to I don't want anything to do with it, and this has just made me realize it's because honestly I haven't found the right poetry for me, and that's what I plan to try and do this year, I hope. So that was fantastic. So after this, you know, epiphany with it all, I jumped online and I actually found a poetry book by Mercedes Lewis called Glimpses of a Fractured Soul. It was intense. It started really funny. I laughed and I nodded and I loved it. And then the poems went really severely into deeper, darker, and it took me a bit to adjust. I did enjoy several of the poems. It was very confronting for me with the whole take on religion and faith, but it's a good lesson to learn that you can love some poems, but that doesn't mean everything the poet writes is for you. The next book I read, I actually listened to, and it was a reread, and it is Regular Heartbeat by Chrisette. And this book is just so fabulous. You have a medical Sapphic romance, you have music and medicine mixed together, and I really love the dynamics that Chrisette puts into this with comparing music and medicine, and it's really beautiful. The two main characters are so well rounded and so in depth. You get this tragedy of death, you get this tragedy of addiction, you get these pains and these histories that become so much to both of them, and they intertwine, and it is delicious. I really enjoyed this, especially the second time around. It is the book for February. in the Sapphic Fiction Book Club. So I'm so looking forward to ripping it apart and seeing other people's point of views and takes on this book. I've always spoken about how I love audiobooks and how a narrator can make a book. This is the first time I felt like having listened to a book has actually done the book a disservice. So this book is Thorn by Anna Burke, and it's beautiful. It's a fractured fairy tale, and her wording and interpretations and her language is absolutely divine. I love the way Anna Burke writes. I don't feel like I can give a proper review of this because I had to speed up the narration just to get through it. And that's not fair on the book because I feel like the book has so much more to offer. So I'm planning on actually getting a copy of this and eyeball reading it when I can, because so far the story I love, but I feel like I didn't get as much from it as I could have because the narration did not work for me. The next book I read, poetry book. So I actually had a friend loan me some of their favorite poetry books, and it's great. They're not my favorites, but I'm really enjoying them. So I Am Her Tribe by Danielle Dobie. You can't really see, maybe you can, I'm not sure, but there you go. It's a really cool cover, except it's white and it pulls up everything, but it seems to be quite a pattern. The poetry books are either white or black, and I find that interesting. But this book was filled with wonderful, empowering words. I really did enjoy the diving in and the embracing of the author's own inner darkness. He did a wonderful job with the words and feelings and emotions, and it was beautiful. The next book I read was Jay's Chemistry Lesson. Oh my gosh, I did a review on this one. I will put a link down in the comments to the video of the review, so I won't go too much into this one now. I adored this. It was beautiful. Friends to lovers, quirky, hilarious moments where I may have spat drink out of my nose. It was funny. It was wonderful. The side characters are all beautiful, and if you've read some previous books of Jay's, you'll notice some of them have their own stories. So that was really cool, and I really loved it. There were some side characters that I'm positive I know that they exist in Jay's books, but I haven't read yet, so it's made me even more eager to go and read some of the books I haven't yet read of Jay's to find out their stories. So it was really good, brilliant, one of my favorite reads for the month. All right, the next book is another poetry one, Milk and Honey by Ruby Kaur. This cover is delicious. It is divine. Like, it is seriously one of my favorite covers. The poetry itself, it was raw, it was real, it was quite intense and confronting. There are sections which were really good. It was sectioned off. You knew what was coming. You knew what would be in each section. Not all the poems spoke to me. I don't think these are entirely for me. I struggled with a little bit of the length of some of the poems. I wanted more from them. I wanted them to be ripped apart. I wanted them to be dissected. But that's my personal preference. I found the artwork absolutely beautiful and at times just as confronting as the words themselves. A Pirate's Heart by Catherine Friend. Oh my god, Sapphic pirates. Oh, I need more of these books in my life. If you know of a Sapphic pirate book, recommend it. Yes, I know, I'm excited. Recommend it. Let me know, because this book was just everything. It was so great. So I listened to it on narration, and the best part about that is the narrator is actually Catherine Friend, the author, which I found absolutely brilliant, and she did such a great job. There are 2 timelines there. Oh my god, there is pirates, there is lost treasure, there is a feisty librarian, a crazy excitable puppy, not this one, but just as crazy and excitable, and so much fun and quirkiness and dynamics and the mystery of it, and I loved it. It was so great. adventures on the high seas. A great book. I am so looking forward to reading more of Catherine Friend's books, especially if she has more pirates. I love pirates. I also did a review of this, so I'll drop that in the comments as well. All right, the next book I listened to was Who'd Have Thought by G. Benson. Now, I adored this book. I adored listening to it. I loved it. I got through this so quickly because I wanted more. I never thought I would be a fan of fake relationship stories. This totally blew it out of the water. I'm like, maybe I do like them because they've never really appealed to me before. But this one completely changed that. Completely changed it. I love so much about this book. I love the single point of view. I love books, and it's such a testament to the author's skills when they can succeed in doing a one point of view book and have people love other characters and feel like they know other characters without having ever gotten into their head. And that was beautiful. And the humor in this book, the delicious chemistry, and again, there is a grumpy feline. That's right, a grumpy feline, people. That's what I need. Grumpy feline, single point of view, humor. Like, that's just, I'm a total sucker for these things. But G. Benson is fabulous, and I love the characters and the mysteries of what was going on and the dynamics of it all, and it's amazing. It's great. I can't wait to actually listen to it again. I might have to actually get this book because it was so fun and just a shock to me at how much I liked it. All right, the next book I read, another poetry one. So this one is She Just Wants to Forget by R.H. Sin, another white cover book that, like, I feel so bad. I touch it and I go, oh God, I've broken it. But this was a really interesting poetry book. Really beautiful words, but I really struggled with the change from, you know, a 1 or 2 line poems, and then you'd get multiple page essays that were more narration. And I know that every poetry is valid. For me, it took me out of the flow of reading the actual book. The next book I read was Perfect Rhythm by Jay. Such a beautiful book. Slow burn, asexual representation, low angst, these beautiful soul-rending moments, these trauma and regret when it comes to family, the family struggles, the dynamics, the small town dynamics, these what is expected and what is reality. It is just so beautiful, and it's so beautifully written. Jay is one of the most amazing authors, and honestly, after reading this book, I felt there was this like sort of peace and beauty in it, and I just felt like having read it has made me a better person, which seems kind of surreal and a bit odd, but that's how I felt, like being able to see these perspectives and just really enjoy learning about another person's sexuality, another person's point of view of identity. And I love that. I love being able to learn more and to find ways that I can help support other people and be true allies. And I love that this book has done that for me in this. Now, the last book I've read out of my 13, oh my God, The Number 94 Project by Cheyenne Blue. I am in love with this book. Okay, so ultimate Australianness, set in Melbourne. The main character's uncle dies and leaves her his house. And then it becomes this whole neighborhood thing, and it becomes the Number 94 Project. And oh my gosh, there is just absolutely so much to love about this book. The beautiful community atmosphere. It's like, I want to live on that street. It's just so wonderful and beautiful. The side characters are amazing. They all have their own lives. They're so well rounded. And oh my God, the laugh out loud moments, the inappropriate conversations. I'm looking at you, Coral. Coral, you are just hilarious. and we all need a coral in our life. The low angst in this book is absolutely delicious. There were moments of like just pure bliss, pure bliss in this book. I thought the frustrations with Georgie's mum would just kill me, but the way it's done is so beautiful, and you can feel the angst, but then you feel the way through it, and you understand the point of views. And absolutely, the last 3 or 4 chapters of this book, I could not stop smiling. It was so adorable and cute, and it's like, you know, that whole meet cute thing. Well, this was sort of like the whole meet resolution cuteness, the re-meet cute or something, I don't know, but it was just divine, and I could not stop smiling. And this is 100% now on the top of my list of my favorite Cheyenne Blue books. Absolutely. I will be doing a full review on this book very soon. I'll be putting it up shortly. Once I do, I'll add it to the comments as well. But yeah, look out for it because it's brilliant. Now, they're the 13 books I read this month. The 14th book I read was a beta reader book, like I said before. A beta reader book for KJ, and it is called The Forever and the Now. And I'm going to start getting teary. It was the most beautiful love story I have read. It is amazing and wonderful, and before, you know, KJ can jump in the comments and say, no, it is not a romance. So if you're wanting the happy ever after, no, you're not going to get it. This is not a romance story. This is a true love story. Whirlwind, fantastic exploration. And again, I will be doing a full review of this book once it is released, but you can actually pre-order it now, and I'll put that down in the comments as well. So that is my wrap up for January. What an explosion of reads. It was so great, so many dynamics, and I will see you all next time. Thanks, bye.